All right. Welcome again to another stream by Chaos Rain here. I am, as you know, Chaos Rain here. Welcome. Thank you for your joining and listening to this podcast stream, wherever you want to call it. Tonight, we will look into, in my perspective, of understanding male nature. But before we begin, I would like everybody to, if you are new to the channel, please don't be hesitant to hit that subscribe button. Also, hit that bell. Normally, you see three descriptions of the bell. If you want to know all uploads and live streams, I advise hit the top bell. This will let you know immediately when I go live or upload a video on this particular channel on YouTube, particularly Chaos Rain channel on YouTube. Also, at the end of every stream or upload, leave your comments for your thoughts and opinions. I like to hear from you. I will probably respond, depending on the comment, but nonetheless, I'd like to hear from you, from your take on the subject. And always like this video. And as you come in, like the video, so that way, everybody knows that I'm active. And also, last thing, share this video as well. Sharing is caring, as y'all know. So it would be much better if you share it to those who come into or listen to this message. Before I go into human nature, or actually say male nature, it's a funny thing that when it comes to boys and girls or biology or the study of it, I believe most of us are very much clueless to understand the biology of both men and women. And it has to go beyond just the sexual reproduction part of it. It should be all in general. And what I mean by this is a lot of males, they whether they know it or not, don't really have an understanding of what we call female nature. A good biology book would work, but in the times we're in now, the average person doesn't like to read or really investigate biology in its entirety, much less buy a book and read it itself. So we just X that out off the bat. But for now, we're going to focus on the understanding the male nature. And this is for the ladies. And I'll try to be as blunt as possible. Now I might get some criticism and maybe pushback after this, but I'll say it nonetheless. In understanding male nature, one of the few things women should understand is the male ego can be very much a precious thing to the male. Now, what I mean by this, your voice and depending on how you open your mouth can affect the nature of the man. You hear that story, your voice or your words could give empowerment, strength, soothing, or comfort, or it could be detrimental, destructive, or it could potentially lead to death, the way how you use your voice properly. And well, I went today, either they are aware or not, and I think most of them are to a degree, because usually when you're manipulating the minds of males that have no understanding of self, you can get anything you want. You can get him to spend every little dime out his pocket. Hell, you might even get him to really do a task to destroy or kill somebody if you're really good at it with your mouthpiece and how good you're able to penetrate the minds of that male. And with that, with female nature itself, in your voice alone and your mouth, like I said before, can be an upliftment or detriment. So, but those that know that that's a few things that males operate through understanding and knowing how he deals with his ego. Not enough males today have grasp or control or have full power over that ego theirs. Now you always hear say that you hear songs say that he has a big ego, because this is how the average male operates. he has to be confident, cocky, and has a sense of, he can lift mountains and overcome all obstacles because he has to operate and confront this environment that he's in today that compose on his natural well-being. Back in times before we are now in the age of in technology, usually men used to hunt and gather, and usually have to fight the elements to survive nature itself. And he has to be that top dog, that alpha dog, because anything of less of performance fighting the elements, normally on the average, you would know that a lot of men would crumble and falter and lose his life for the elements of nature itself. Nature is a good tool to man. And like anything, man has to respect nature, even including himself. And with the nature of man, or males, for lack of better terms, he has to always understand this. And if he doesn't understand, he eventually will come to realization and learn for himself personally within time. So during them times, agriculture or regular survival days, hunter gatherers, what you want to call it, men have to sit there, operate, and fight the elements of nature itself before conquering anything else. Women were second nature after man has conquered the elements. And even now in modern times now, there's not much fighting for the elements because we live more in a quick and go type of way. So there's other forms that males have to really view himself and value himself through the burden of what they call performance. One thing to know that with male nature, men is always in competition with other males. Now, what I mean by this, whether some males know or not, especially within certain racial groups, we have different races of men. We have white, black, particularly as the main ones. Everything else is like second nature. Other in the abnormalities from the Mongolian to the hybrids, I believe the Arabs, particular mix between black and Greco-Roman, and man is always in conflict with other men. Men never cease to stop being in competition with the opposite men. A best representation and example of this is sports. And as everybody know that watches sports, sports is one of those unique keys that shows the highest form of aggression. And usually the top form of aggression will be one of few things: football, boxing, and we could say UFC, which is more form of punching kickboxing. So these are the forms that he competes with other men. And hell, we could also throw in military, where we go into like warfare, is another form of aggression and combat with other men, competing with other men to see who could stand toe to toe, who will be the last man standing. Well, the next man prepares to kill the other man in combat, whether armed or unarmed. This is another thing that shows of male nature is competition or compete with other men. And usually, if everybody knows, even today, and we can say probably a century ago or two, that usually back in Western times, and we watch a lot of old Western movies, how how other men used to deal with other men. They would usually point their guns and stand into if I can remember what they call it, a face off, where they stand and they do a draw, where whoever pulls their gun out first and pulls the trigger will kill the other man will be the one called the victor. And I know a lot of women might find that to be arousing or they might find it disgusting, but this is the nature of man or male nature. It's always competing against each other, physical or non-physical, but mostly it always ends with the physical part of it. And usually, depending on how deep the aggression is, someone will probably lose their life. And one story I could tell, I told the great liberators earlier, how I remember a story of a young woman. I think she was in her 20s now. She was dating and screwing this other, I guess, her boyfriend or something. And for some reason, they had an altercation in the workforce. Now, this altercation got a little heated and potentially a little violent. Now, I'm not sure if anybody was throwing hands in the workforce or it was like it got violent verbally, but nonetheless, it got violent at the end of the day. And in the next day, two gentlemen, or I say two males, come to the same work spot. And mind, just a story a friend told me where he worked at. I believe so. Yeah. That these two men or two boys came in. One had a pistol and was asking where this man is in the same public environment where people are at with a gun in his pocket or in his belt buckle, looking for this man like he was going, I would say, kill him in this vicinity. Now, the few things that came to my mind was this, that, and mind you, these two boys are not in a relationship with this woman that the friend told me, that not of his knowledge, but for somebody to come into a public space with a weapon trying to find the same man that worked to a certain department to handle him, it lets me know this, and this is what my conclusion draw out of this, and he would agree with me, that this same woman or young woman was manipulating the side dude that really wanted to sit there and take the main dude out because of his aggression towards her, whether physically, verbally, whatever you want to call it. And when it comes to relationship with women in the same male nature, men, like the animal kingdom, will kill other males for that woman or for that female, to get at that female for either sexual conquest or procreate use. And I believe one is the same as the other, no different. That's male nature. Men kill other men for that poo-tang. You get me? For the poo-tang. And this is something that I'm explaining for those that will listen to us to get a clear idea. Not for the other boys, but this is also goes for the young girls and other women that's a certain age. Because I think the weakness with this community is we are very much not educated to understand the nature between boys and girls, or men, males or females. And what happens in this culture or in this society, we go into relationships, we walk into or confront each other, interact with each other, and we have no clue what we're doing with each other, or much have idea what we really want to achieve when we come into contact with the opposite sex. I think a lot of women feels though that a male is simple and is something that they could take lightly. But as we know throughout history and even today, that's not the case. And this applies to any race of men. Same thing applies, you know. Male nature never changes, ladies. It's not gonna change in my lifetime, and it's not gonna change in your lifetime. Males are simple, but we can be complex if you want it. if you're dealing with an actual healthy male, it's how logic he is. And even better, how even logic he is to deal in solving the problems that he face or has to deal with on an everyday basis. Give him your problems every day about what you have a problem, either you're verbal to him or nonverbal. He at the end of the day has to figure out how to solve the problem and get back to what he was doing. I might just as if this is a dealing with a healthy male. I can't speak for the ones that's acting out of character, out of nature, where they're more than less than a male and acting more like a female, but isn't a male body. He might have the organs and the muscles for a male, but his brain is solely operating like a female. Now, many reasons for this is that they probably raised by one parent, most likely their mother, for too long, and they develop these little feminine tendencies. A lot of good examples of that. Some of your celebrities you will notice, like the Kanye West, the who else? Maybe potentially, I'm not sure. Billy Porter was raised by a single parent. I don't know. I had to Google him. Who else? I believe maybe Dwayne Wade might be one of them too. And mind you, I'm just throwing names of people that they potentially could recognize, and they could do the research themselves to really confirm if this is accurate or not. But what I've noticed when most males that's raised by only solely female for a lengthy long time, they develop bad habits, lazy, even lazy, and very much uh unappropriate tendencies, like a woman. And to me, those same males are no good to the average woman that's looking for actual man to hopefully to lay up, get married, and eventually procreate, depending on how the society is running. And I think too many females validate a lot of effeminized males just to feel validated and to have friends. And this is one thing I've noticed also. I've noticed also with women, young girls, whatever, that they won't have sister or a female circle where other females they're close to have a very strong, good relationship. On the average, they rather, even today, and I would say this has been going on for maybe a couple decades, maybe 1 or 2 decades. A lot of young girls that are adults now, they have a lot of male friends, and some male friends could act as feminine as well, and that's not good. That's no good. Hold on. All right, and a lot of females that have these males as friends that imitate them, paint their fingernails, toenails, whatever you want to call it, these same effeminized males, they're very comfortable to having as friends because a lot on the average can't trust another female for whatever reason. That's the issue that they have to really get resolved. I think it goes more debit because they're raised possibly affects that. I'm not sure if a lot of young girls that's been around their mother too long might develop that lack of respect relationship with other females. I don't know. A lot of things go into why other females don't trust other females to even have friends or create a pre-fair or structural sisterhood where all their problems they face, whether womb problems, children, and stuff, all could be resolved by having a very strong sister circle. Um, I probably have some females up here if they're around the stream. If y'all present, let me know. Just let me know, and I'll send y'all a link to come up for better clarity. But that's how I see it. Um, so that's one thing I would say that most males, even now today, when they don't operate through their natural nature, this is what you get. You get a very weak and effeminized male. The other thing, if I want to add on or next to this, is that males, on the average, can be polyamorous. Now, what I mean by that, some males today, because of the pool of more women than men, can really operate and deal with more than one female, whether they're in a relationship or just like, have, or better yet, not even in a relationship. They could just have them as friends and maybe make it seem more than just friends and have what they call sex partners with these females. Now, in this, if you notice, a lot of males won't probably keep it honest with the other female in well, not in concert, in regards to he might push away the other female knowing that he's dealing with or having relationships or having intercourse with his other female without her knowing. And at times like this happens. And I think the fear with our boys or males today, and not just males, but just in general, why they do this, because it's always a thrill to know so they have more than one female to really be able to juggle between women. And it's just like it's a hunt, it's a thrill to the average male. Now, for most males that don't know how to control their emotions, this will not be the right thing to do. And they have to entertain it nonetheless. They entertain it. And one of the consequences of this, usually if another female discovers that, this male that's in a relationship with her and he's messing around, can have some detrimental effects. And one of the detrimental effects it could have is he can get cussed out. He can have his material or his, what do you call it? His things be destroyed, rather vandalized, burned, you name it. Another thing, some of these that same female could sit there, spread rumor or gossip about him in a negative way to warn the next woman, you know. And the list can go on and on. The thing you have to understand is with male nature, polyamorous is actually the norm in many communities, especially the norm to the black community. Regardless if the male has the resource or not, another one will entertain another man or another male if he is appealing or, lack of better words, making that coochie wet. They don't care. They will share with him. It comes with the territory. Not many males in general can have more than one woman, and another woman is cool with that, either she knows or not. Now, there are males today that if they don't meet that certain appeal, will not get that attention of that female like that on the average. He'll have to probably do more. What I mean by do more, he'll have to grab resource. He'll have to maybe improve his image, whether changing how he looks hair wise, or have to appeal body wise by making his body more toned and other thing, like I said, the resource, having, like say, the capital, or having some things like having like a vehicle, a necklace or watch, and all these other things, tangible things. These are other things that the male in the same species that is not really the selective one has to do to really draw attention to the females. Males at the end of the day have to fight for validation for a good portion of the female populace. It's the nature. If you're not, something wrong with you. But and like I said, in male nature, polyamorous is one of the things. And like I said, the only reason why we are more polyamorous or polygamous is because there's just too much more of the opposite sex than the other. Now, let's turn the tables and think if there was more males in the human species than females, then obviously the aggression, the killing, or whatever you want to call it, what males would normally do in male nature would be not much heightened. It probably would be, well, actually, it will get heightened. Let me change it back. It will get heightened because, like I said, male nature never changed. And if it's so many males to one female, he will do what's necessary to get that one female. I mean, if you look at Asia, certain parts of Asia where there's more than a ratio of, I think it's like 3 or 5 to 1 male to 1 female. You see the consequence, what's going on there? The only thing I've not found out with so many more, there's more males than females in Asia. I think especially in China or any other Asian country. I find interesting that they're not really so aggressive with where they're just killing each other just to get one female. I could be wrong because I don't live in Asia, so I only go by what is possible in nature. And another thing, some of the people that's in Asia, the males particularly, have to go outside their country to hopefully find a woman. So, because that's what's going to happen. And think on this, especially in that part of the world, there are a lot of virgins in Asia. If you think I'm wrong, YouTube it. Matter forbid it. Google it. You'll find information there. You'll find some articles about virgins in Asia, especially China. Some men will not lose their virginity unless they are going to get married or whatever. It happens. It's a thing in Asia. So I think people in Asia view sex totally different from everybody else in the West. And you just never know. You never know. So males at the end of the day, they will, if they're, like I said, there was more males than females, that's what's going to happen in male nature. Now, all right, I think I said those things. What else? Oh, and another thing with male nature. Males in nature always, and has always, even throughout history, fight to obtain power. Now, the word power is very foreign to certain communities, especially the Black community particularly. But power is a thing that is known for every male species throughout human existence. We can go through the days of, the time of Kemet, even times when the Roman Empire established through Julius Caesar, to the rise and control of the Moors, to even now certain Europeans that were in power even back then, some maybe in small bulks now. All men in male nature fight to attain a sense of power. And when you find a male that does not really go into that same interest to fight to attain power as a collective, what you see a sense of stagnation and also, what's the word? You see helplessness. You see loss. You see a male that has no purpose. Matter of fact, you see just a male still acting like a boy when he does not engage and grows to be and do male or men things. Because down the line, groups of men, they always want to find ways to better not only themselves as a collective. As you know, throughout now, most other race people, they still operate as a collective. They don't need a whole lot, but just enough where at times they want to see their other brothers be in a power position. So they're not under another control of another group of men. That's another thing about male nature. Males seek to gain power. When we look at the Black race, because of, let's say, many factors, one, psychological is a heavy thing, that the control and I would say abuse and mental tarnish that's conflicted, a lot of males today lost that urge, that desire to say, I don't want to be under no other man's foothold. I must be in power by any means necessary. We lost that. And I feel it's going to be a time where Ale Venture has to come back because, like any animal, you put him against the wall, he's going to have to perform, whether he likes it or not. And that's what you're going to see bring forth with other groups of men, especially the black males. They will be the ones that will have a certain desire and will just one day say they just don't want to be under oppression. I mean, it won't take too much. And like anything, the one thing that stops any group of men is the fear of failure. And that's another thing about male nature. On the average, males do not, on the average now, do not fear much anything. Because, like anything, you are that vessel, that Y or X chromosome that you have is designed to deal with danger in all forms. Look at many wars that males engage in. Many wars they engage in is for territory, the control, and also to take control of women. It is a very interesting thing when it comes to male nature. It's not something to look shameful. It is what it is. With this nature, we going males have to sit there and look upon himself and say that I have to dominate one way or the other. It's in them, it's in their genetics, it's in their bones, it runs through their blood to feel to conquer. You know, when the lack of that type of that fuel or that response naturally from a male, he is operating other, and he's operating like a female, or the reverse. Because if you're not operating through your own nature as a male, you're operating opposite to the to a female. Now, mind you, nor with other groups of competing group of men, they have the ability now with technology, or they have figured out is always how can I still dominate without doing anything? Because you look at other races of people, most races of people on the average don't want to do much work. So they have to sit there hopefully to dominate another male group, not just physically, but psychologically. So that way they don't have to lift a finger to anything for themselves. And knowing this, that the average male that doesn't operate through his natural nature to rule, conquer, he is no use to nature itself. And like any natural selection, nature either corrects itself or, man physically corrects itself. It's one or the other. And we all know nature is much more powerful than man. So in understanding the male nature, ladies, you know, these are the parameters. These are things that you're going to accept and have a good understanding. Either that, or you're going to have to go and find a good biology book and read more on male nature, species, and all that stuff. And normally, most women nowadays are females. They've been around enough males, and they might have a idea, but they don't have a real clue really what male nature is. And I don't blame them, because usually the best male teacher that could teach you this, ladies, is your father. But if your father wasn't around from the start, this is what happens. You have to, like any human being, figure it out. And if you can't figure it out, what's going to happen? You're going to get burned every time. You're going to be disappointed every time you come across a male that you want to deal with, either verbally or sexually, whatever you want to call it. And the saddest thing about this is a lot of y'all gonna get to a point with frustration. Might even go as far as you might want to be or engage in homosexual acts, ladies. Because if you cannot understand male nature from its entirely, what will happen is that you're just going to do the opposite and operate like a male. And usually the environment makes you have to act a certain way just for survival. But the consequence of that, you become more masculized, which is done by design at the end of the day. And because of this, your womb's gonna be affected. Acting like a male or doing what a male does has consequences, ladies. I ain't gonna go into the spiritual aspect of it, but just the physical part of it. Your body's gonna be in ruins. Your womb is gonna be very toxic, and it's gonna do so much damage that if you don't get no serious disease or some ailment that will eventually take your life out, that's the end result of it at the end of the day. And it's funny when I hear about the marriage rate here in this country that's now touching close to 30%. I look at that as a representation of not only the twitching or the effects of other races of people by competing group people when it comes to finance and marriage amongst this community, but I look at the spiritual aspect part of it, that we're just not really connected as a unit of people. We say we are, but we're not. Because certain behaviors that we inflict on ourselves is representation of the mental illness that we really refuse to correct. You could be spiritual all day you keep talking about, but if your mind is so messed up and you develop a mentality of hating yourself because you feel that you come in this world in the skin you're in as a mistake or curse, this is what happens. What's up, Charles? And like I said, male nature will never change, ladies. No matter how much you want to infect your son's mentality, or hell, even go as far as affect the men in your life. You only gonna go so far as a female. And mind you, you're gonna get those males that will come to your little program, be those yes males all day, every day you like. But it's not gonna fuel you up to your inner nature as a woman or young woman, like better terms. It doesn't work like that, ladies. The only thing that's gonna happen to you is that you potentially might set yourself up for disaster, and potentially you might be lonely for the rest of your life if you're not careful. Because I see now in an environment and a stir of new upcoming males, some that are homosexual, possibly. Actually, some of them probably will, even as far as some that just would even deal with a woman, and we have some now. Like I said before, I did a video dealing with sex bots. A lot of young males that's not even 30 yet are checking out, don't even want to entertain or even try to engage with another woman. It's out here now. I tell you, it is out here. So don't be fooled. So that's my piece on understanding male nature. And now I'm gonna open up. I have a thought there. That's good, Charles.
You gotta understand something about understanding male nature.
Mm-hmm.
Understanding male nature is like understanding the exploration, the ingenuity, the courage, the bravery, the strength, which is called masculinity.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why a lot of these guys out here are cowards
Mm-hmm.
derelict
Mm-hmm.
in all aspects. And the women are lonely because they don't understand male nature themselves.
Exactly.
So we dwell within the meaning of this word and the total comprehension of it. We have to take a deep look into our own psyches and say, can we actually stand up and say, this is us?
Mm-hmm.
Can we say, are we people of substance or just flash in a pan?
Mm-hmm.
You can't say you want this type of man if you've never seen him before.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes, indeed. Indeed. Indeed.
You can't say that shit.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny with masculinity, Charles, and I forgot to include that without it, oh, sorry, back. Without masculinity, you as a woman, you feel barren. It's like I'm here with
But
all this, but it doesn't really suit me, especially with a woman, and I feel less fulfilled in some way. Well,
without masculinity,
yeah,
what quantifies femininity? Masculinity.
hmm,
You don't feel like a lady unless you're around men.
exactly.
No other woman, even if you're in a relationship of the same sex variety, guess what? You're gonna have that longing for male. Even to both parties. One, if not both, are gonna want male companionship of some sort.
Exactly.
Just like we like female companionship. You cannot override this shit.
Hmm.
Do as you may, try as you must. You just can't override it. So
Hmm.
when people when people actually try to go against the grain for this, they got to take a deep look into themselves and say, "Hey, I am subject to all this shit."
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Of course, of course, of course. And even go further. I said earlier about polygamy and all this stuff. That say, when you're dealing with an actual man or masculine, most men could adapt and deal with more than one female. You know, I
Hmm.
mean, we are wired like that because women, at the end of the day, you're seeking men for a sense of guidance or to solve some sense of problem. Right? They don't feel that it's not necessary, but it's needed. You know, and the men that they come across that solves enough problems, they love it, Charles. They
Hmm.
love it. Yeah. Matter of fact, it makes that pussy go ooh 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 ooh. You know?
Of course,
Yeah.
of course, because it's something they can't control. They can't put a concept on it.
Hmm. Yeah. And like I said before, the only purpose of why I'm mentioning this, bring this up, because we hear about always about female nature, and it's understandable. Most men should, if depending what stage of life is, they should have a clear understanding. If not, maybe they have to read on it. But no one has ever put emphasis and time about what about understanding male nature, you know? Because a lot of women, their issues and problems they have, even today, they feel they're better and they could do without a man. Hell, even goes as far as to question said they don't need men. I'm saying that's preposterous. That's the definition of insanity. Because everything that you got, your comfort, hell, even some of the protection, are still on opposites of a man. It was not this black man, it's some other man. So when I hear them throw these terms and then go about and be bossy about it, I look at them with a side eye. I say, okay, if you say so. But when you need something really that you can't really handle, you're gonna really turn to and ask for that man, you know. But then again, if you don't understand the nature of man, you're gonna operate like anybody else in this world, like a regular drone, you know. Um, and oh, actually, let me check my message. Somebody's posted. Sorry, people. Hold on. Okay, that's not. Yeah. So, like I said, ladies, and gentlemen, especially young boys that don't understand your nature, they're the things that I'll probably lay out just for you to have a little bit more of a clarity. Whether how clear I said it or not, it's a thought to make you start to think on this. And I want to bring a bigger thought process and somebody to even deeper think about is the ladies as well. And I know, ladies, why you don't think too deeply on this, because you go out your way to go buy books, how to think like a man, or what's these other things that's out here? I'm trying to remember. How to interracial date, or all these things. At the end of the day, you're still trying to understand the male psyche, how the man thinks, how to get what you want. It's like another form of manipulation, which can be problematic and dangerous. Like I said earlier in the stream, that your mouth can be a healer or a destroyer. But if you don't understand male nature in its entirety, you just be doing things that's out of character, that you might not get the results you might seek. Some of y'all, and I said some, not all, some of y'all. Some women got like that, and they could probably get everything they want from a male, but some of y'all don't. And mind you, this only applies to certain men, not all men. Certain actual masculine men will understand when a woman's running game or not. I mean, you're better off getting those dudes that don't have no confidence. And hell, we could say some dudes that keep calm stuff that are not slick. This probably applies to them. But overall, male nature is not that complex. It's simple. It's very simple. All right, so I'm just gonna go on my social media. See anybody else want to? I don't think anybody else is gonna send a link anyway. Actually, let me see what this man's doing. Oh, and as people come in, like the stream, I'm gonna put myself on mute. Be patient, people. All right. I guess no one else will probably jump on this. So I think I said enough here.
So what happened? So what made you do this one today?
What made me do this? It is set in my mind now for some time now, for the last couple of days, from others
Then
podcasts and stuff I listened to. And it hit me when it's saying, we talk about certain things about us as men, but no one has really talked about understanding the male nature. Because we could waste time all we want to understand female nature, and that's something that's lacking. But when it comes to the male's point of view on this, it's non-existent. No one has ever talked about it. So I decided, let me talk about it and give the best I can to explain male nature, how I view it, just for a re-educational purpose, whether people take this information or not, you know. And it brings a thought. You understand, Charles? Now I remember what I was about to say before I conclude this. And this is one thing I did not notice. I'm hearing about the one celebrity called Charlemagne the God, and I always question this dude entirely. And I hear people talking about the man is a little fruitcake and all that stuff. But when I saw a particular upload done by the guys from No Ledge, and he went in on Charlemagne the God, and I now conclude that this man is really a homosexual.
Who's that?
He's really playing. He's actually really one of them type of people. You get me?
Yeah.
Because think about it. This man on previous Breakfast Club episodes had his, you know how these people have these sex replicas. He replicated his whole backside.
Wow.
Listen, my dude, no actual masculine man,
No.
a heterosexual man, is going to have somebody mold his backside for anybody a male to indulge.
That is some weird shit.
It's beyond weird. This man is, you know what I'm saying? And I always heard the rumors and the little loose talk we talking about, but it just confirmed it. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I tell people many times that, if you gonna get into those type of industries and stuff, you gotta be compromised as a male. You gotta compromise yourself. You're not gonna let any person that's healthy minded or actual man on those platforms, especially a black male.
No.
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 Every dude I'm noticing they have some little fish in their back. They have some little fruit.
Unless you turn around and change that opinion.
It's not a good look. Not a good look.
You definitely said that cigarettes from black is fine.
Yeah.
That's why I conclude. So anybody coming
I watched him say it.
You can't tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing no more. I question it, but I couldn't really put my finger on it until now. Until I saw that clip. I said, no, that is the highest form you could. That's actually showing right there where you stand at. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Wait, hold on. Somebody sent me a message. Give me a second. Who's this? Hold on, people. Yeah. Just checking something right now. Okay. It's nothing, so okay. I think my thing just froze. All right. Oh, there we go. So that's my conclusion on that side of things. I could watch the Breakfast Club all y'all want. I mean, I don't really watch like that. And I don't really pay too much attention because this is like another outlet for a bigger agenda. That's it. So people can't say that they don't push certain message and all stuff. No, they do that. Yes, they do. Oh wait, somebody wrote something. Hold on, people. I gotta refresh my page. Okay. Give me a second, guys. I got some slowing down here. All right. Let me go. Hold on.
So what's else on the schedule coming up?
I'm glad you asked. As I'm refreshing this, what we're gonna have is me and the Great Liberator are gonna talk about. Let me see. What's the subject? Okay, I give you all the line right now. What we're gonna be talking about. We are going to be talking about. As I go back, let me go back. I'll give you a title right now.
I ain't calling nobody.
And this stream will be on Sunday night, I think around 7:30 p.m. And the title, hold on, give me a second.
Nigga, I had 3 bags of Rellos. I had 1 Rello when I got up this morning. I'm on basement.
Okay. All right, as I pull up the Great Liberators channel, I'm gonna tell you what it is. And plug this out. Okay, the next stream that me and the Liberator are gonna do is: are Black people really a damaged people? This is gonna be a very interesting topic. Me and I'm gonna go in on this.
The short stuff, the short answer. The short answer, very much so.
I know you, Russell. Yeah. I mean, yeah. But we're gonna analyze it a little bit more in depth. Sunday night, 5 p.m. That's gonna be
yeah, you gotta do the proof from the pudding, right?
Yeah. Cause we always talk about, and we already know Turi because of the mindset. We go into a deep analysis. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to participate, where to find it. Yeah. But yeah, that's gonna be the broadcast. Sunday night, 7:30 p.m. Also, I might do a stream after that show, and I'll give y'all a little snippet, and this will be an upload sometime next following week. I'm probably gonna focus on what I've noticed now during the quarantine, but this is before the quarantine. A lot of females now are turning into more of selling their little assets on other media outlets. Some of them even young as 25, creating these pages now and say, if you give me this money, you could see me shake my booty or give head to a dude for less than $10. I'm gonna tell you, Charles, this is where we at now with all of our young girls and older chicks, since they have now gone very low now. Well, they'll just do anything for pocket change.
You thought there were actually standards before? Oh man, you still got hope, man. That's what I like about you. You're still hopeful.
I mean, well, I can't say I'm hopeful now. So,
you gotta stay hopeful, a little bit, because some reason or another, we're going through some intrepid issues where people are just not just good people anymore, man. It's almost scary. You know what I'm saying? Where you got your faith in this one person and it's just discombobulated. So it's like when you look at the morality and the situation, and you're looking at it, you're like, no. Put that down. No. Seriously, stop asking. Yeah, no, stop asking.
I'm gonna keep at it.
No.
Yeah, B1 for like it is crazy, man. And I was gonna say this for upload, short little upload, but I said, why not? I dedicate a whole stream on this. But like I said, y'all catch that the following week because I'll be on another channel talking about that personally, just for the sake of the content, yeah. But like I said, yeah, I'm hopeful. I mean, why not? But I know most dudes say, nah. I say, yeah, you're right. But You know, like Jesse Jackson. Keep hope alive. I am somebody. Well, I think I am, but I am somebody. Yeah. All right. But anyway, so like I said, catch me in the next live stream, my people. You know, please leave a comment at the end of this video, and you know, like I said, subscribe to the channel like always. Until next time, let chaos reign.